I work just a few miles from where the World Trade Towers were. 13 years ago today, I was scared. I feared the next attack. My instinctive response in most people's was to want government to do something, keep me safe. And government did do something. The Senate quickly voted 100-0 to create the TSA, the Transportation Security Administration. Senate Majority Leader Tom Daschle said, "You can't professionalize if you don't federalize." Government control appeals to people. So is airport security now professional?
Disgusting abuses of power.
TSA employees ordered the elderly woman remove her soiled adult diaper.
The TSA at the airport, you went through that?
Yes.
Oh, you made a face. You were not happy?
And anything that has a government stamp on it, from my experience, it is not ran correctly.
Right. Rare wisdom from Times Square. Chris Edwards researches government boondoggles at the Cato Institute. Chris, people seem to want the TSA to be there. They say it's protected us. It's kept us safe.
I think the main reason why aviation has been safe in the United States the last 13 years is because of the dearth of terrorist attempts against aviation. We've only had 2 attempts. We had the shoe bomber in 2001 and then the underwear bomber in 2009. Those folks were not stopped by the government. They were stopped by average Americans tackling those
They got
terrorists.
on the plane.
They got on the planes, past government security, and they were tackled by individual passengers. So that's what's keeping us safe.
One specialist wrote that the passengers getting involved and cockpit doors deter the bad guys.
One of the good things, I'll give the government credit for this, the mandate of hardened cockpit doors has been great. That's been one of the best things we've done for airport security. But TSA itself has been mismanaged, boondoggle spending, wasted money, caused congestion at airports. It hasn't been well run.
So Cato isn't saying get rid of the airport security. You're saying privatize it. And here's a sample, and you wrote a report on this, privatizing the TSA. Here's a sample of what happens when government allows an airport to privatize screening.
The lines are shorter at San Francisco Airport. They move quickly. And passengers even say the screeners are nice.
I think they're a little more understanding.
Everybody here is friendly, a lot more friendly than Dallas.
Dallas and all the other big airports employ government screeners. San Francisco is the one major airport that was allowed to hire screeners who work for a private company. Not only are these screeners nicer, they're better at finding stuff. The TSA tested them and found they were twice as good at finding contraband. Why would private screeners be nicer and better? Here's a reason. They practice. Here they're racing to match these security cards together under blacklight. The fastest screener will win $2,000. The TSA trains its screeners too, but not like this.
So these guys have a profit motive. The guy who runs this operation knows if he does a good job, he'll be hired by other airports, he'll get richer, and that makes him more careful?
That's right. I mean, Canada and most European countries, they have private screening at the airports with government oversight, and it works really well. You get a contract for, say, 3 years, you got a high performance standard, you do a bad job, the government fires you. And these companies who do this in dozens of airports around the world, they are export. So as your segment showed, San Francisco, the studies show, does a better job than LAX, which has government screeners.
And other airports apply, let us privatize, and the government won't let them?
That's right. We have 18 airports in the United States where they've allowed them to have private screening.
Mostly small ones.
Yeah, mostly small ones. And study after study have shown that these privatized screening airports do at least or better than the government screening airports. The Obama administration has tried to suppress this, has tried to stop the privatization, but there's too much demand from airports. They want private screening.
But the public is icky. Privatization, private sector always outperforms government, but people are suspicious of private companies. And I asked people of the street, should the TSA be privatized? And most said no way.
I think TSA does a good job. I think you got to stay with TSA.
Should it be privatized?
Oh, gee, well, I wouldn't think so.
People are scared of private. profit.
Well, they shouldn't be. TSA has done a bad job. If they read the news, there's mismanagement and scandal at the TSA all the time. They spend hundreds of millions of dollars on things that don't work. Those big body scanning machines that they installed, where they showed sort of the naked pictures of the passengers. It's come out now. Academic studies have shown those didn't work at all. You can slip guns and plastic explosives by those machines.
Kept using them.
They kept using them. They wasted hundreds of millions of dollars of our money on them.
Thank you, Chris. If we lived in a reasonable world, the Department of Homeland Security would now say San Francisco's private screeners are proof the private competition is better. So we're disbanding the TSA, and now private contractors will compete for the business. But we don't live in a reasonable world. We live in a big government world. Government failed on 9/11. Our intelligence agencies ignored warnings about the plot. The security screeners who worked on 9/11, the private ones, did everything government asked them to do. The box cutters the hijackers used were allowed under FAA rules. The government didn't require strong cockpit doors or allow pilots to carry guns. Even though the 9/11 attacks were largely a failure of big government, the politicians' response is always the same: give us more money and power. And we do.